Shalom everyone, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and welcome to the Daily Drash. Today's Daily Drash is taken from Deuteronomy chapter 15 verse 6, and I'm going to be reading from the World English Bible. For Adonai your God will bless you, as he has promised you. You will lend to many nations, but you will not borrow. You will rule over many nations, but they will not rule over you. I have what is called dyscalculia. Dyscalculia is basically the numeric version of dyslexia. It's definitely not as bad as it used to be when I was younger, but ever so often numbers will just kind of flip-flop on me. I passed high school math by the skin of my teeth. I took an extra science course so I didn't have to take math in college. So math and numbers is not my strong suit. I can understand math theory more readily than I can actually crunch numbers. So I am no financial expert or genius by any stretch of the imagination, but God's economy doesn't even make sense to economists, to people that are good with numbers and good with money, but it works. We know that one of the principles is that if you give, and that you give generously, you give cheerfully, you give from the heart, you give of your first, you give of your best, that you will not lack, that you will get back more than you give. And it just doesn't make sense, but it works. And here's another financial principle that is applied to individuals as well as the nation, that has not been put in practice probably since the time the Torah was written, or maybe one of the reigns of the Israeli kings. But we see that virtually all of the countries in the world are financially in debt. The United States has a debt clock, and it's in the trillions, and there's never any way that we could ever pay that off. And as a result, we're borrowing from China, we're borrowing from other nations, and they're getting ready to collect on those debts, and we're going to have to compensate them with land and with food. And sadly, this is already being done. Hopefully, this will be reversed. But the countries are in debt because they're not following God's principles. This verse, for Adonai your God will bless you, as he has promised you. You will lend to many nations, but you will not borrow. You will rule over many nations, but they will not rule over you. So the verses ahead of that verse is basically saying that every 7 years, all debts are canceled. All debts inside the nation are canceled. You can still require debts from foreigners and people that are not part of the Commonwealth, but among the Commonwealth and among the nation itself, you are to cancel debts every 7 years, no matter how big or small they are. And it's kind of a reset button economically for the nation. And as a result, and I can't explain it, but the nation survives, has plenty, and as the verse says, God will bless you as he promised you. You will lend to many nations and you will not borrow. You will rule over many nations, but they will not rule over you. So the almighty dollar has become an idol, has become a lowercase g, a god in the nation. And so greed and the love of money is the root of all evil, as the scripture says. But greed has caused the nation to be in debt, and because of desire and want and lust, the nation has become in debt, and we have had to borrow. And it's not that we're lending to that many nations, and if we are, they're not paying us. We just seem to be putting out and forking out all the time. But in your life, I think this is a principle that can show that you are trusting God more than man. Sometimes, you have a buddy who borrows a dollar here, borrows a dollar there, and oh man, can I borrow $5 for lunch? Or man, can I, I'm a little short, can you lend me this or whatever? And whether you're tabulating the debt or not, it adds up. But when you forgive somebody and you give to them because they know that that they need it, God will bless you. My grandfather, he used to be a carpenter, and he sharpened saws, and sometimes people wouldn't pay him for his work. And sometimes, and my grandmother got so angry with my grandfather and said, they're robbing you, they're stealing from you, they're taking advantage of you. And he said, mammy, he said, maybe they needed me to sharpen that saw for them so that they can make an income, so that they can make a living. And yeah, they cheated me, and they took advantage of me, and they ripped me off. But God's going to pay me back, and maybe they needed it more than me, so I'm okay with that. And God blessed my grandfather and prospered him. I mean, he was no rich man by any stretch of the imagination, but God always took care of my grandfather and his family. So I think this is a principle that I wish that the nations of the world would grab hold to. But if you can't grab hold of it as a nation, you can grab hold of it as an individual and learn to cancel debts when the Lord leads. And as a result, God will bless you for your generosity and your generous heart. Hey, thanks for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Shalom and Shavua Tov. Abraham'sDescendants.com, getting back to the first century in a 21st century way. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press the like button as well as the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and the notification bell that'll let you know every time I make a new video. And don't forget to share this with a friend. Also, visit our website at Abraham'sDescendants.com. Thanks. Shalom. Thanks for watching. Stay connected by subscribing to our other social media accounts and visiting our website at abrahamsdescendants.com.